think I'll go through some basic stuff. Then, like, I'm going to make a circle on a new layer. Holding shift, so the shift keeps it a perfect circle. Now I'm going to fill it. And deselect it and use this rectangular, cut it in half, and I want to move it over, so I'm putting this right here closer to it, or else I can trim it. I just reselect it and get it even closer. So that would be like a hinge point. I'm going to zoom in, take it over one notch. Okay, so now I do edit, free transform. This right here, when you have a selection, you always see this in here. That's a center pivoting point. You can move it up there, and it's like a magnetic stick to the corner. And now I can just take that circle and hold shift. The shift gives increments like this. And the increments makes it easier to line up with a perfect straight across, or a 90, or a Mr. Pac-Man. But that's how that works. Now, if I wanted to make those into bowls and select a circle with inside this, I have to select where I'm going to do it. So I'm going to turn these over. Yeah. Well, turn them over and move them. So you have to have a corner to where you're going to go. So I'm going to zoom in on this one right here. See, I want this bowl to have this much side on it, and then at the bottom I want it to have that much. So, well, that just made it move. Okay, so that's, I want this much at the bottom and this much at the side, or I can go with one more notch down. That makes it look even to me. So that's how you get where you're going to start, because when you want to cut out with a circle, you put this right here in the corner and click, and don't move. Just hold down on it again when you click, and get this into a ball, which probably should have zoomed out when I did that. Good. Get back to there. This where it's not like this arrow here. I mean, this cross means I'm outside that corner. This means I'm inside the corner. So I'm inside right here. And hold shift so I can get a perfect circle. And then when I see it, is the computer just messed it up. So when I see it is equal over here, then I stop it and use that. So try that again. The computer refreshes and kills my selection. So I'll have to do this kind of fast. Now I just hit delete. Since that's the same size that I need over here, I can just use the same one and put it in place. Nudge it over with arrow keys. And if I want to make a line across here, I just use a brush. That looks like it's bigger than that. Looks like it's smaller than that. I'd say a 7. 7. Okay. Now edit, undo. Opacity was too low. Now I click there and I hold down and click there. That makes the line go from dot to dot. So edit, step back. So now I don't have the dot there. Now I create a new dot, but this time when I'm going to push down shift and hold it after I start to dot. Oops. Now I want to drag it across. I'm holding shift and shift gives me that straight line. It goes horizontal and vertical and dot to dot. So I want to go like that. So that's how you would do things like that. It's just using the selection tools. So I guess that's enough for the selection tools. Now I'm just going to do something else. I was making a model, and sort of like if you want to create a person, you paint all the muscle tissue and everything in there, and you make the body in parts like a paper doll. You can animate it. So I made this. These are all the shapes of all the parts. And I put red dots here for the hinge of where the joints are. So like if I want to move this foot to be flat, I'd move it flat. But if I want to move this one, I just right click on it here and it gives me a list of things that's there. And it says leg, arm, body, foot. And see if foot is the right one. Edit. Free transform. See? And this red circle center for here, I'm going to move it over here into the red. There. Now that gives me the hinge point, and I can bend the foot. So I can make this foot go down. I could have made the hinge point for the toes so I can bend the toes. I can also do a copy and like this, cut off a piece of this to add more toes. Actually, it should be less than that. I made this in a smaller version and enlarged it so it's actually blurry. And I'd say the hinge point is down there. Hey, hit it, undo, move. Gonna move this without moving that. And then use this for a toe. So I edit, cut, edit, paste. So I get this toe here, and then I hide it. Pick up this color here. Let's see. I'm using a brush, so I have it ready. So I pick up this color. I'm using the Alt key to pick it up. And then I fill in some of this so that the toe have a place to curve on without leaving a gap. So now that I got that done, now I do that same thing to the toe. And now that I have the toe and foot, I can put a hinge point on it with a red dot. So red dot, I made my red dots at 5 pixels, but that was before I blew it up and made it larger, so I'll still go with 5. And put my hinge point right there. Edit, undo brush. Put it on the toe. And then write this as a toe. And actually, I probably should just leave that without this color because I'm going to drop it down below the foot. And the foot would have to be the one that's get the mark on it. There. See, the toe is under the foot now. Actually, I probably could add more to the toe here. There. That would probably look better. So now I want to bend the toe. So I just do freeform, move this pivot over here, and bend the toe. And you can see where it looks like it's all messed up. That's because the pixels are changing around the edge, and it makes it a little blurrier, but this is only blurry because I enlarged the picture. You can clean up the shape if you want. I'll upload this, and you can play with this paper doll type thing. So if you want to do the shin or thigh, like the thigh, you can just do the whole leg. And the whole leg, when you got the whole leg selected, that means it's a folder of all the parts. And I'll just do free transform, and you can bend the leg, but you got to put this, got to remember to put that in its place for the hinge point. See, this right here is the shape of the hip, that hip bone. So that's part of how the body would be shaped. And apply. And if you want to bend this at the knee, like this one, I'm going to bend this one at the knee. So I right click on this, and this is a leg, and it's leg 1 because I have leg 1 as the left leg. And I'll open that up and go to the shin. And the shin needs to be linked with the foot. So this links the foot to it. So the foot has to move too. So now I can bend it. See? And then I can bend the foot. I just finish that selection and bend the foot. I didn't put joints for the hands. They're like, I'm not showing the thumbs. This is the outside of the hand, but this would be the inside of the hand. So the thumb would be here. This wouldn't have it. That would be the lump in the palm. So just move the foot without being linked to the shin. And this free transform. There. Or it can be like this. So if you work on it, you'll have to make the joints for the arms, because all I have them do is just move back and forth, I think. Let's see. The arms. Here's one arm. Yep. They just don't have the red dots on them. So the forearm gets the joint thing for the, see the red dot is right there. It's underneath. So I can get this and make this transparent and then put a dot there. So now the forearm has a dot. I'll save it and you can mess with it. And then that's a blue dot. Let's make that a red dot. Okay. So now I move up and the forearm can hide, but I think the reason is needs to be hidden is this one. So I'll just make this, nope, that's the wrong one. Upper arm needs to fade so I can see where to put the dot. Put the dot in the middle. So go back to being full. There. So now if I wanted the forearm to move, I'll have to link it to the hand so the hand moves. Edit. Free transform. Oops. I forgot to put that thing in the pivot point. See? And then bend the hand. This is free transform. Oops, I forgot to unlink that. I'll just click this. Okay, edit. Now I can move this here and to here. And bend it. Apply. So I didn't do anything for the head. It's just the shape of a head. And you can redo the arms to thin them out to be for a skinnier person. You can add more muscle to his legs and make it more, or you can use this figure to draw all the body parts and fill them in, like this thigh right here. I can paint in this thigh. I'm going to do it on a layer over it and then link that there. So now if I want to paint a thigh, I just paint it the way I normally would do and pick a soft brush. Actually, I should fill it. So let's fill it with bigger brush. There, that would be big enough. Like a brownish color, just fill it. Then do with a softer brush. Give it a little bit more redness, like a maroon color, and edit. Now I just want to fade the brush. Go with 3 so I can barely change it. Now I'm getting like a dark tan. So now I just fill it in the middle. I get the brush to get smaller so I can get inside this curve and then paint this. The flow is a little bit low. It's leaving rough edges. So this is getting the shape done, and I want to add some darkness to this for shape. And I'll need a line. I need a line, and I'm picking up that shade right there and make there's a muscle here that goes like this and back like this. So this is the highlight color, and it needs to be highlighted here. And then add darker, and this is part of the knee. So and then there's a sink here, and I get the roundness here, and take this back a little bit. There. Now if I hide this arm, you can see what the leg looks like. And then I can link this leg to this thigh. And then this shin can be done the same way. Just start a new layer. I like this color here, so I use this darker color and fill it in. And you see this edge right here? We can remove that on here by erasing it. Just trim it off there, or else make it blend in with the leg. But anyway, let's see, pick up this light color, add the thigh muscles, and then the shin. That's where it's curved. Everything else is sort of like sunk in. You got the ankle down here. And this goes around the knee a little bit on the light color. Now I can select this thigh and help blend this in here for the knee, because there's the knee, it needs to be lighter. And pick up this color, blend it in. So I want to remove this selection while it's still selected, so I don't want to see it. So I remove extras. Now I can see the colors here on the edge. It's kind of hard to erase, so I want to take the selection off. Even though it's hidden, I just took it off. And I'm going to trim this right here just a little bit. I think I'll zoom in close to see it. This line right here. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Edit. That's not right. Oh yeah, I see what that is. That's showing the other part. Edit. Undo eraser. So we'll just have to extend this color. Go smaller to add more right there to cover that dark line. And then the dark line down here, don't need covered. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to trim this. Okay, just get this. The kneecap. And the thigh. Needs the same thing. Or that's the shin. So I can paint a leg, but I'll have to trim it. On the thigh, because I don't want to add more to it. So I can see the shin needs to be lighter right there. So get this color. Should be lighter there. There it is. So now you can barely see that. So now you have like the knee. The knee should be better off than that. See the thigh, and pick up this dark color here and outline the knee. And give it a little highlight. There. So now it's sort of like a leg, So you can see it as a leg, and you can fade these even though they're linked. Like this one here needs to be linked to this one, and that one's linked together. And if you want to see the dots, you fade the, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. You fade this so you can see the dots, and fade that. So now you can move the leg around. Let's see, I'm going to put this up high. So I'm going to move the whole leg. Edit, free transform. Put this dot up here. It's not quite there. And then bend the leg up. And then select the thigh, because the thigh is the only thing you want to bend besides the foot. And edit, free transform. Oops. Edit, free transform. And bend the, oops, I forgot the toe. Undo. I have to deselect it so I can get down there. The toe. Okay. Edit, free transform. Move this up here to the joint and bend it. So now I got this leg, and I'll show it fully. I just bring it back up, bring this back up, and there's some patchwork here. So you can see that it just takes adjustments, but it's more like there's the leg, and when this muscle is pushing up against here, you have to accept for that, because that's going to be a part of the bend. Let me see, let's select there, and grab this color here and blend it in, and this thigh up higher. Need a smaller brush to fill in this light area on top. Then we go back with a bigger brush, fill in this area for the knee. Edit, undo brush, edit, step back, edit, step back. Apparently I went farther. So I'm trying to do it without blending that. So get this like that. Then the thigh or the shin. So I have to select the shin and make this lighter here. So you have something to work with and creating the model. And if you animate it, you have to save all these different pictures to go with it. So you can use this model and do whatever you want with it. Add muscles, give it shape, body. Then it's more or less just an outline to work with. But it's, if you each pose that you do is not going to be exactly sideways like this. But sideways gives you the option to animate. So you can make this up and animate it. So this layer here, I'll go ahead and delete it. And this layer for the thigh, I could probably leave it and consider, well, there'd be like an idea of the pose and the muscles. Because when you learn how to draw legs and stuff, you'll learn these muscles, how they look by actions and stuff. Because this is lifting the leg, so you have more strength up in here to lift the leg to keep this go up. See, arm. So the arm is being shown now. So I'll save this. That way you'll be able to get it. So that's with the animation and creating a shape that you can animate. And it's something to play with, but it also helps you remember that this point, this point in the middle, free transform. Since it's empty, it can't do it. Edit, fill. Edit, free transform. You got this point in the middle, that's movable. You can move it wherever you want to be the pivot. And shift shifts it no matter where it is. It moves it in an increment. But if you got off and not a straight line across, you just have to try to get it right. So this takes care of that. Now on the smudge, if you want to paint something, let's see, I'm going to make a new layer and fill it with black. Now I'm going to try to paint a flame. I'm going to make red on the bottom. Then an orange up a little bit from there. But I want to mix in more of a yellow. So the red and the yellow blends together to make an orange. So I'm just tapping and dragging every once in a while. Now, the lightest part of the flame would be white, sort of. It's a yellow, a bright yellow. So I'm just doing this because I want to get this flames to go so it looks like flames. And I think it could use more yellow down here. And maybe even some blue. Usually when you have a fire going, you have logs in it. So I can have like a log here. You get this solid shape. Paint like a log is right here. It'd help if I added this up higher. So let's say that this is the log. Now, these aren't really like logs because they're not red. They usually have red embers on them. So I can paint red embers in a lighter way. So I'll just go like this red. And sometimes it has like inside the wood, it's cross. So it don't really look that much like a log. Then you need a brighter color. I'll go with this orange and lower the flow a little bit. So the whole point here isn't really just to draw this thing. Some of it is to show what you can do with it. How to make this flame look more like a flame. So I'm going to add in some streaks. And now some pale colors with the lower flow. Just throwing them in. Probably should plan on where I want them. Anyway, now I'm going to show you what you do with this. The Smudge Tool, I got it set for 28%, and that's how far you drag it. So like these flames here, push them down. You push them around. And drag them up to make them show the streaks. Like these are little flames on the wood that's burning, and it's like a flame coming out like this. And I'm going to make this pop off. I'm going to go up here, make this flame go up high. Now I'm going to cut it off and try to push in as much black in there as I can and separate it. And just gonna scribble it there, break it. Now this is going back down. Because the flame just popped off. It went up here and I'm gonna make this flame wider. It's like going way up there. That's what the flames do. They just pop off. They fly up high and snap off. Get this bottom faded. There. So just like that, it just pops off. If you grab this really outside edge, that's all you drag is that little bit of tint and stuff. While you can take this heavier stuff and drag it down. So you can add little flames in the back and control it, change the size of the brush, make smaller flames, longer flames that's narrow, just many different sizes. You can go like make this thing right here go around like this from a draft, blowing it, and I'm gonna put a curved tip on it, so like there's a current going in like this, and it just like whoosh, and the heat from the flames cause it to spread out and push up. It's the flames are controlled by the draft. Like there could be wind on the outside blowing out, and that's what caused the flames to look like they do. See, this is showing a little bit of breeze blowing in here, but the heat is rising so fast that current is pushing it up. So I can take a little bit of this outside and make a little flame start up here. And now we got a flame with burning logs and stuff. It's could be better, could be worse, could be faded, but this is basically how you make flames and stuff. They look like this, kind of, but that's what you can do with the smudge tool. So I'm going to hide that layer. The smudge tool works for many different things. It's mostly for current. So if I'm have a really dark scene, I'm going to fill this with blue. Edit, fill. Wait a minute. I'll just start a new layer so I'm not filling my white layer. Edit, fill. Now I'm going to get some black to blend in some colors. I'm going to use a softer brush. So I want to get a dark scene. And this color right here looks like the best color to fill. So I'm going to edit, fill. So this is like a dark scene. Let's see if you have like trees. I'm going to go up here and get the other brush. That's not soft. And paint trees. I'm going to do these trees on layers. Okay. So this is the trees in front. I make a bigger brush to make trees in front. This actually it needs to more flow because I'm filling in the area. Step back. There. Now, painting a tree. And let's make a smaller tree. So there's different sizes. And I might want to trim some of these trees. Make it smaller at the top. And that didn't look good. Then I'm going to cut the bottoms off. So if you can't see this because it's too dark, I'm sorry, but you'll see more in a minute. Now I'm going to go with the soft brush. And the object here is to paint fog. So I'm going to paint fog in front of the trees. Wait a minute, that's the wrong color. That was an eraser. It's the wrong thing anyway. Okay, this is big enough to make fog, maybe too big. Now I'm going to make like this color of fog. And edit undo brush. This would be a light color. Now I'm going to paint another piece of the fog behind the trees. Oops. Trying to get behind the trees. See, you can see the trees in the fog. And then we can make other layers of trees. And this would be over this part. Oops. That's a crooked tree. And then I'm going to cut that off. Oh, I'll just might as well blend these trees off a little bit too. Let them blend into the ground. So now I have another layer of trees, and behind that I can have more fog. So brush, soft brush, this fog color, and add in, oops, add in fog. So now we have like layers of fog. So I'm going to hide this layer and this layer of fog so I can focus on the fog that's in front. I'm going to use the Smudge Tool and make sure it's big enough to pull in. So I'm going to drag this down here. This creates air currents. I can have air currents flowing through here like this. And then the top's usually not that much on the top. You should be able to see the height of the fog. So I'm creating air currents when I do this. So I guess there's some air currents there. I don't know why it's like this, like that color. See, image, mode, 8-bit color. I guess that's about the best they can get. It's just separating this color for the fog. And then I can also control it by this, drop down the fog to about 63%. Then I start with the next fog and hide this fog. This fog is in between the trees, so it's sort of like I want the currents to go up this way, go up there, coming in from behind. I'm always gone in a direction going this way, so like the wind is blowing across this way. Now I have another layer of fog right here. I think that's probably not much of a layer. Probably could use more in it. So I got 3. I'm going to smooth this up here. And then I paint fog and the flow of the fog. So when you use a smudge tool, it works good for creating air drafts. And smaller brush dragging it means smaller airflow lines. So when you put all these together, you got this fog, you got this fog, and that should give you what you it should be. And I can probably take away this color. I'm going to see it's not enough here to show anything there. So I'm going to use the adjustments to make this white. I'm using saturation down, brightness up. Okay, then do the same thing here. So it's more of a white. Adjustments, brightness, color, saturation. Cancel that. Image, adjust, using saturation. Make it bright, no color. And this one, image, adjust, bright, and no color. Still looks the same. And you can always add brush strokes in it to make it streaks more. I'm going to use white and a low flow. So see if I can do it. This is in the front. I don't see anything happening. Probably because it's at 63%. And I'm doing it 3%. See if 17 to do it. Let's hide everything. And I got one fog left. It's not doing anything. See, select, remove any selections. Brush. There it is. It is selecting something that wouldn't select. So I didn't change any of these colors. So image, adjust, use in saturation, make it bright, fade to saturation. So I can color these because that blue streaked with different colors in it. So if I want that, I could always use it. And see, image, adjust, saturation, and brightness. See, these two colors I did. And this color I didn't. Image, image, adjust, using saturation, brightness. So now you put all the fog together. This one in the middle is kind of faded, so I can make these faded a little more to match with it. This one in front has to be faded more. Well, this one right here needs more. It's a piles up here in between the two. Now we get the trees. And let's see which one this one is. This right here where it's faded, this is making that bright spot. So that's this one. Nope. That's this one. Yep. So I'm on this one. Now I'm going to see where it's bright through here. You can smudge it. Make it come down this way. Put it where these trees are, because the draft is going around the trees. And you got drafts in the fog. So use Smudge Tool for drafts a lot. So that takes care of that. And that. And I got the flame showing you the flames. So on a lot of things, when you're trying to do glass and things, glass is more like, let's see, start a new layer and probably put in a new folder. Move all these in it. Oop, 4 shouldn't have been there. There, 4 will be in the folder. 5, 6, 7, 7, and layer 2. I probably screwed up the order. Okay, we'll just hide this. Show this. This. That's the front fog right there. That's the middle fog. And that should be a top fog. And these trees. Huh. I thought those trees' bottoms were trimmed. Guess I'll just trim them. And it's because it's at a lower flow or lower opacity for the fog is probably bolder than that. It's 48%. That one's at 100%. And this one is probably don't matter. It's a distance fog. Okay. So I collapsed that set. And then there's my flame. I just do fog here. Create a new layer or new folder and put this in it. And flame. So now I'll just start a new one. New set. And start a new layer. And hide that and that. So I guess it's probably been enough time for one video just to show those few things. I think I'll just quit here, and I didn't save that. So it's done. Okay, 2.